these guys living under the bed. I gobble up a sock before you turn your head. Like a bolt to light, make your heart jump. My name is Mr. Bumpy, I go bump, 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 yeah, bump.
Bump, bump, bumpity bump.
Everybody bump.
Bump, bump, bumpity yeah. He goes 100 miles an hour, he drinks dynamite. His name is Mr. Bumpy, he goes bumping and night. It's Bump with Squishy.
She's my very best pal.
Bump with Molly.
She's my favorite gal. Bump a closet monster and Destructo too. But those guys don't bother Bumpy, he knows what to do. Say bump.
Bump, bump, bumpity bump.
Everybody bump.
Bump, bump, bumpity yeah. He goes 100 miles an hour, he drinks dynamite. His name is Mr. Bumpy, he goes bumping and night.
You can bump with the doll, bump with the bug, bump on the ceiling, or bump on the rug. And you can bump too from the east to the west. Just bump with the monster you love best. Let's bump.
Bump, bump, bumpity bump.
Everybody bump.
Bumpity yeah. He goes 100 miles an hour, he drinks dynamite. His name is Mr. Bumpy, he goes bumping and night.
My name is Mr. Bumpy, I go bumping at night.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Everything Horror. I am your host, Stacy Cox, and joining me today is
Paul
and Tessa Baker.
And tonight we're going to talk about Bump in the Night. This was a childhood favorite of mine. It's a very old show, but I watched it so many times that I used to remember about how I used to go to sleep reciting like every part of it. And recently it celebrated 25 years. I think that was last year, it celebrated 25 years. So we're going to start it. So guys, Tessa, Paul, I know this is your first time watching Bump in the Night. So please tell me, what are your impressions? What are your first impressions?
Well, I personally never heard of Bump in the Night until you actually brought it up to us, Stacy, and told us that it was one of your favorites that you used to watch. So my first impression when I went into this was I was like, okay, let's see what this is like and if it's going to be anything like Real Monsters, have that kind of feel to it or not. I actually thought it was cute for being a kids show. I liked all the characters. They were all unique in their own way. Mr. Bumpy has a weird fetish with dirty socks. Squishington likes everything clean, and Mr. Bumpy's like this pig, like a slob, and Molly is like this empathetic doll that cares about everybody and everything, and is like, she's like this like bubbly character. Doesn't like anything sad or anybody upset or anything like that. It's like traumatic for her. So I guess it's a pretty interesting show from my opinion from what I saw.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do remember that I looked it up, Bump in the Night, when Stacy first mentioned it, and I even sent her like a cover of the show to clarify, like, this was it, right? Or no, we didn't send her the cover because we ended up
We saw it in the dollar store.
Yeah, and then we sent it to her like, is it this one? And she's like, yeah, that's the one. And I'm like, that's $1. Why not grab it?
Which we ended up sending Stacy a copy too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we ended up sending Stacy her own copy because she didn't have it. And
it was $1, so
it was nostalgic for her, so
yeah.
Oh, and I thank you guys for that, by the way. I was actually really surprised, and honestly, I didn't even know they were like selling it on DVD. Honestly, it had been. Well, no, I take that back. It wasn't so long since I last watched it because I remember finding it on YouTube. Before that, I was like, "Oh crap, it's on YouTube! I'm about to binge watch these episodes like right now," because before then it had been forever since I last seen it. And honestly, I kind of forgotten about it until I stumbled upon it on Tubi TV. I was like, "No shit!" I'm about to watch this. It's kind of like, after you've been so long of watching like original episodes of Tom and Jerry, and then you just find them like, oh shit, I'm about to like binge watch these episodes because they're like awesome. So yeah, one time I watched that show so much, and I could recite it all, and then years have went by, and I kind of forgotten about it. Then I stumbled upon it again. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to watch this again. But so let's delve a little bit more into the characters. Okay, honestly, I feel like out of all the characters on there, well, not okay. Let's say we already know Mr. Bumpy. He acts like a monster. He's what you would expect a monster to be, right? His whole like demeanor and attitude and like what he does. As you mentioned, Tessa, he's obsessed with socks, dirty socks, the dirtiest socks ever. I'm just like, ew.
And he
Wow.
lives in like this pigsty underneath
The
the
bed.
kid's bed.
Yeah, so there's
Right.
the monster under the bed
Yep,
type of thing.
monster under the bed.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Squishington
Oh,
really like confused me, right? He's supposed to be this monster, but yet he prefers to be clean.
Everything clean, himself clean, just clean, clean, clean.
and he's always worrisome about Mr. Bumpy and like has to be on top of everything. Like everything's got to be in order, and if it's not in order, it's not gonna go right. And I think there's like one episode where he kind of flips out it, because something isn't quite right.
OCD when he has to go and stay with Mr. Bumpy, and he ends up cleaning Mr. Bumpy's space.
Right.
And making it all clean and everything, which throws Mr. Bumpy off because Mr. Bumpy loves his filth and his sloppy mess and everything, and Squishington comes in, just cleans everything up and organizes everything. He's like, oh.
And that was a cute episode, actually.
That was a cute episode.
Because after Mr. Bumpy throws him out, he's just like, oh, you know what? I feel bad. I like trashed his place and he cleaned up my place. I'm gonna go and like clean up his place, and then you get Squishington that's like, I kind of feel bad. I cleaned up his messy stuff that he liked, and I want to go
mess it up again.
So yeah, that whole episode was cute.
And Squishington also lives in the toilet.
Yeah, the back of the toilet.
Yeah, he lives in the back of the toilet in this clean, like spick and span, spotless bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably one of the most like unsanitary places of the house is where Mr. Squishington lives. But yet, ironically, it's also the most sanitary place ever because, like you said, it's just clean, spotless. Like you see the glisten and everything. You see the sparkles, right?
Basically.
Something out of like a Scrubbing Bubbles commercial.
Right. Yeah. Like when they say you can eat off the floor there, you can eat off the floor there. It's like, oh wow.
Wow, the product actually works.
Now, what about Molly? I sympathize with Molly in the one episode where she just kind of felt like used and abused.
Yeah, she had quite a few good examples actually for episodes. I'm just trying to like pinpoint one and not trying to mix multiple, but like let's look at
she tries to make the closet monster feel better.
Tried to make the closet monster feel better. With that monster is pretty badass to be honest. But but as for her, let's look at like when she's trying to be the badass because of the other three dolls that are
yeah, she feels like she should change herself to be more of a badass, that nobody really gives her recognition and credit for her being as she is. So she
tried to become something she is, and with different parts that are
different parts of other robots and things like that.
And everything. Yeah, which basically turned her into a great big bully. Um, then we got the closet monster one trying to make him feel better. Then we got like, oh god, Mr. I think she's like trying to get
She's trying
Mr.
to. There's various episodes where she's trying to make everybody feel better, even.
Yeah, but
Like,
then there's like even the one where Mr. Bumpy and Squishington is oh god, what was that game they were trying to play? Like that scare game with Molly, but
Oh,
Molly
yeah.
doesn't like
It's
being
like the-
scared or whatever, like or something like that. Oh god.
it's like the Scarathon
How
or
is-
something like that.
Yeah. And then like they think they scared her to the point where she just like stopped moving completely.
And she ends up scaring them and getting even. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one. That probably had to be actually one of my favorite episodes. And was that Hide and Go Freak? Is what it was
yeah,
called?
hide and go
Yeah,
freak.
that's
Yeah,
what it was.
hide and go freak.
Right. Yeah. And I think one of my favorites with Molly was when she got tired of being pretty much like used and abused. And then what happens? She ends up like on this obsessive quest to become stronger, right?
Yeah, the badass one where she
Yep.
has to where she gathers up different parts of different things like
The robot arms
the
or
robot,
legs or whatever
the
it was.
robot legs and the monster arm and something else.
And somebody chest. I just can't remember who.
I think it was the robot's chest too.
No, one.
There was like a blow dryer arm from like the dollhouse.
Yep.
And then a monster arm.
Yep.
And then there's robot legs.
And then I just don't remember, like the tin chest, wherever that came from. I don't remember the tin.
And then, and what I did not like at first, what I didn't count on was kind of how it ended to where, what was she? Was she dreaming that this whole time? And then there was actually another version of her that was taking things further, that was amplifying things, right?
Right.
You guys remember that part?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I thought that was actually a pretty good twist, actually, to be honest.
I did too.
Because I didn't think that there was going to be, like, a different part until, oh, crap, who was it? It was Squishington and Bumpy, right? No,
Yeah.
it was Squishington that, I think said something about like, hey, we need to stop her or something. Or maybe it was Mr. Bumpy and Squishington. I forget. But yeah, that whole episode alone is a good example of like how you should not judge somebody just because of how they are.
I agree.
People as they are.
Right.
So, out of all of the adventures of Mr. Bumpy, Squishington, and Molly, which one was your favorite?
Oh, that's a tough one.
The Germ World one, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was a funny one. We both like that one. I like the closet monster episode where Molly was trying to like soothe the vicious closet monster.
Oh, yep.
The badass one was a good one too. Molly trying to be a badass. Yeah. The hide and go freak one was also a good one.
Yeah. I don't know. There was a lot of good ones.
Yeah, there were a lot of good ones. And we watched everything.
Yeah, so it's really hard to pick one adventure, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's what's so great about this show. Like, I'm like, it's so cheesy and so old, but at the same time, it's like an awesome show, and it's pretty much every episode you like. I would have to say for me, I agree with the Germs, and also I really liked Night of the Living Bread.
Yes, okay, yeah.
That was a good one too. Yep, have to agree.
Night of the Living Bread, and I think one that was really funny.
Which one?
What about the one where what about the one with the shit? What was it? Like the bug in the bottle, pretending to be a genie.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and then that was fun.
That
That little con
was
artist.
too.
Yeah, the con
Yeah,
art.
that was fun. He was a little con artist. I wanted to squish that bug. I think another one. All right. Another one I thought was really funny was when um Mr. Mr. Bumpy. What did he get? I think he got small, and then he had to watch those babies, and those babies like they were trying to hurt him at first, but it was weird because like the one baby had like a man's voice. I'm like, huh?
Oh
That,
yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, that one. That was a good one too. Funny one at
I thought
that.
that one was so fun. Yeah. Kind of reminded me of like Stewie from Family Guy, how you got this little toddler, he has the voice of a 40-year-old man. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I kind of raised my eyebrow when he opened his mouth and started talking. I'm like, wait, what?
yeah, right.
Exactly.
That baby had the deep voice. What's going on here?
It sounds like it's already gone through puberty. What's going on here?
I think the last one that I'll say real quick that I really liked is the one that they kind of did on Squishington. That like his own little episode. I think. I
Was
think
that
there
where
was.
he lost his face?
Yes, when he lost his
Oh,
face.
Washed his face off with the
Yeah.
washcloth?
Yep.
And
And
then
then
like the
the
bug cult was like worshipping it like an idol.
yeah, that was great. And then the other one that I actually enjoyed too was the one with somebody might have to correct me with Mr. Bumpy's mother or like grandma that came over to visit and were trying to scare everybody.
Oh yeah, I think that was I think it was the grandmother, Stacy, right?
I'm trying to remember myself.
Yeah, all I just remember of that one is like because it's hard to remember every single episode since there's
Yeah.
like what 21 episodes.
A lot
So
of episodes. A
yeah,
lot to
Wait a minute. I think I see what you're talking about. Auntie Mata, Bumpy's great Aunt Mata.
yes,
Oh yes, it
okay,
was the aunt.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yep, that's the one. Yeah, that was
Oh,
another good one.
yeah. What did you guys think about the after like every episode there was a karaoke cafe like interlude? What did you think about that?
That was not bad until it got to like season 2, and then it was just like
Repeating certain ones.
yeah, it started to repeat certain ones, and then there was some where it was actually new. So it was just more like, well, what the hell happened here? Did they just like
Run out of ideas.
run out of ideas? And then I
Right.
kind of thought like they started to also repeat episodes with like some new episodes as well. Where that's where I kind of was going like, well, I don't know what's going on here, but I feel like I've seen this episode before. So I went back and looked, and yeah, it was almost like
Well, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, because honestly, like I said, it's been a while since last seen it and everything, and rewatching it all. And I guess I missed this the first time, but I'm watching it again. Getting it fresh in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are they repeating? Like, why are they repeating? Episodes of season 2 and everything. So it was so confusing when I'm like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. That was confusing.
Well, I guess thank goodness for the whole being on DVD or whatever now versus watching it on TV where, we can just skip it because we know what's going to happen versus just, seeing it and hearing the same song and make you want to pull out your hair because it's just like, wait a minute, this song just sang like in the last episode or something. So
Or
yeah,
like the last season, or what's going on here?
or the last karaoke night thing that Mr. Bumpy had, like Stacy was saying, was the end of each episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about the animation? Like, as far as I can tell, from the top of my head, there are two, including Bump in the Night, shows where I've seen on claymation. What did you guys think about the claymation, or do you think it could have been better in a different form of animation?
Oh, I think it's fine the way it is. Stop motion animation with clay, I think, is like one of the most hardest but amazing thing you can do, because you got to give everybody that does the stop animation stuff like so much respect for how much work actually goes into the stop motion, because you got to think something like Bump in the Night that is about, let's just say, 24 minutes, because TV, you got the commercial breaks, so like two commercial breaks usually. um it's just, it's I think it works great, and for being on its 25th anniversary, 26th anniversary this year, as we record this episode in 2020. I think it still holds up to be a really nice way of realizing how much work used to go into something like this. I mean, look at like Robot Chicken. That's all claymation. That's all stop motion. And, stuff like that you just need to really appreciate, because nowadays you can just, draw it in a freaking pad, and then you're basically done. Back then you had to, like, you know, uh, shoot on a 9 millimeter or 16 millimeter camera and with actual film, and then you had to cut the film, and then you had to put it together, and yeah, so much more work back then than what you actually have to do now to create something.
I agree.
I think it's a very creative way to do a show. I don't think that there's anything that needed to be improved or changed about it. The fact that they used claymation was actually a very, like I said, creative and interesting idea. And they did it well, so I don't really have any complaints about it. And I have to agree with Paul on what he said about it as well.
What about the voice acting? Who of the characters, like the actors, the voice actors, who was your favorite of the voice actors?
Well, you know, when I was first went into this, I could not help but, like, it would oh man, I wish I recorded myself when I heard Mr. Bumpy's voice for the first time, and like really listening to Mr. Bumpy, because I'm like looking at Tessa, and I said, I swear to God, I know who this voice actor is, and it reminded me of somebody else, and it was pissing me off so bad. I was
He
like,
was so
oh my
infuriated because he
God.
couldn't pinpoint who it was. It was like driving him nuts because he's like, I know I've heard this voice somewhere else before. Where have I heard this voice before?
Yeah, so it got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I need to look this up. I need to look it up. And then, like, even to, like, right now, I don't even know I'm going to find it in time. But after learning who Mr. Bumpy's voice is, I'm like, yes, this is exactly who I thought of when I heard his voice. Exactly who I thought of. But now, like, because I'm not hearing the voice right away to really sink it into me again, because I finally figured out who it was, of course. But I'm like, oh my God, he has to be the voice of this. And right now, like I said, the series is now blanking in my head because I figured out who it was. But I was definitely like freaking out because I just could not put my damn finger on it. So, and then I just started looking at the guy. For anybody listening, it's like just so you know who I'm talking about. It's Jim Cummins. Like he does so much voice acting. It's freaking crazy.
We're pretty sure that you would even know him from something on the list. For sure.
Yeah, there has to be something on his huge list that you would know him from, and I mean has to be because it's just ridiculous. I of course noticed him from a specific one though, and once I learned who it was, I was just like, "Yep, this is him. This is almost like the same exact damn voice," and it just blows my mind. As for the other actors, I think I was more like, I think I heard of them, but I'm more, I'm more
I think he
aware of
likes Mr. Bumpy
Jim.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. But it was still nice to see like some of the other voice actors.
I think they were all pretty neat in their own unique ways, but I think I resonated most with Molly's character because she's empathetic. She's empathetic and very caring and nurturing and everything, and likes to take care of people and everything. So her character kind of resonates with me.
I agree. Now, do you think they could have made this series last longer, or even like a movie, like a full feature movie, or did they stop while they could? Because as we mentioned before, there were episodes that was repeating in season 2.
I think if they didn't run into the issue of recreating redoing episodes like or repeating and stuff like that, and if they found a way that they could have come up with like new ideas, that they probably could have kept the series going. But I think towards the end, when stuff started to repeat and they were running out of ideas, I think that's where they started to lose like their momentum and everything. I do believe that there was a short movie or short film that they did, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a movie that they did do. It was
Was it the holiday special?
yes,
Yeah, it was the holiday.
The bump of the night before Christmas. Bump is I forget what it's called
Hold on,
now.
let me see here. 'Twas the night before Bumpy.
Was the night before bump.
Yes, 'twas the night before Bumpy. So they did a small
Christmas special,
Christmas special type of deal.
which we ended up watching that too. But that will be a Christmas special episode if we get to that. If we remember what I should say.
Yeah, we might need a refresher around the holiday season for that one. Just for the heck of it.
Yeah, because Tessa and I would have rewatched like all of it, even the Christmas one, because we were just like we wanted to engulf it all to really appreciate.
Yeah, we even watched the
show.
special features and stuff like that, and watched the creative process and all that too.
And we could not forget the special appearance of Gilbert Gottfried, because he was also in Bumpin' the Night as well.
Yes,
For one episode. Don't ask me what his thing was anymore, because I forget exactly which episode it is, but it's
he did make an appearance.
He did make an appearance, yeah.
And vocally speaking.
He was Odoriferous Stench.
Odoriferous Stench. What a name.
Oh man, and honestly that voice, he played he was Iago off of Aladdin.
That's right.
Ah, yes, that's right.
He has a very distinctive voice, so it's like, oh wait a minute, now I gotta see which character he played. I mean, of course the name, but
Well,
yeah,
that's always how I would picture him. Like as soon as I hear his voice, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy that did Iago from Aladdin.
Yep. That's right.
he he must have. He definitely was one of those other characters, the secondhand characters. So it probably didn't even catch me at the time. It just slipped my mind. I wasn't really thinking about it. About like so the whole makeup and practical effects. What do you think about that? Like, what do you guys think about like the monsters, how they were designed? Do you think they were um, scary for their time, or could they have been more scarier?
I think that they were appropriate for what they are because Bump in the Night is technically supposed to be kind of like a kids show, isn't it? In a way, like a
Yeah,
kids show that teaches you about like lessons and things. And always has a message of some kind.
right.
Right, exactly. Because
So you
you
don't
got to
exactly.
remember when because Bumper Night also did like the old school of old school. Like every time you saw the freaking the cause, for those two listening, Bumper Night was also in a surrounding area of a 10-year-old boy's room. So and like it was actual people, but we never saw their faces. We just heard
Yeah,
them talk.
And we saw like their silhouette, but we never actually saw their faces. We saw like the
Yeah,
side of their like the back of their heads or something like that.
but
Or
like look at the way Bumpy was almost like protecting the boy as well. Like when he was sick, he was like, my boy's sick," and
that voice.
yeah, so for this series, you don't want to make you really didn't want to make the monsters scary.
Yeah,
yeah, you wanted to make it
they were pretty
fun.
much made the way that they should be
Yes.
for that audience.
Yeah.
Now, if it was more for like adults and stuff, I would say amp up the scary, but since it's more for like kids and like teaching them like
Important
messages and lessons and stuff like that, then it's fine as is.
Yeah.
well, thank you so much, guys, for joining me with this. That was all I have.
Yes. Thank you so much, Stacy, for talking with us about this very interesting TV show that I think I said I wish I knew about this when I was a kid.
Yeah, I wish I knew about it as well, but we will be showing it to Amara.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Well, there you have it, folks. That was Bump in the Night, the episode with Stacy, myself, and Tessa. And if you haven't yet, make sure to check out Bump in the Night. It is on YouTube, and it is on Amazon. Could very well be on Tubi. Just go to the Google search bar, type in Bump in the Night, 1994, 95, and you should be able to find it. Otherwise, link will be in the description below. And as always, everybody, stay scary.